This is our third video in a row like this. We're on fire. I'm on fire. I don't know about you, but I'm on fire. Very proud of us. And now it is time to talk about the thing that I want to talk about the most in life, which is everything I'm supposed to do that I'm not doing. Today we were talking about all the YouTube advice and really social media advice that I ignore by choice or by not so much choice, because that's right, I don't have the energy to do it. And so I'm like, I can't.
The first one would be consistency.
That's right, because all of the YouTube people, all of the social media people will tell you, just post, and just post all the time. Be consistent. If you're not consistent, then you're not going to win the game. What game are we playing here? This isn't a game to me. It is a game. It's the game
of life.
The game. I love games as well. You know. I cannot consistently do anything. I can't consistently eat, breathe, and live every single day. If you know, you know. And I'm so sorry that you know. So that means, unfortunately, that it is ridiculously difficult, if not impossible. It's not really impossible, but it feels impossible to actually be consistent and post on a schedule all the time consistently. But things that do help are schedulers. So I use a scheduler. Some social media people be like, don't use a scheduler. It will totally down your views. And I don't have a choice if I want to be consistent. I can't have it all. I can't be consistent and not use a scheduler. Also, I feel like we do just fine using a scheduler versus when we don't use a scheduler, because we try both ways. So we use a scheduler, and I also batch film. So we film a lot like in a week or whatever, and then we schedule that to be sprinkled consistently for whatever it is. You know, if we do 15 shorts, then you'll get 3 a day for 5 days or something, you know what I mean? And they'll all be scheduled out. But I find that y'all watch whatever you want to watch when you want to watch it, and kudos to you, that's how it should be. So I don't feel like it really matters what kind of schedule I'm on, as far as like, should I post at 6 a.m. or 10 a.m.? That's another one we don't follow. When people are like, you must post on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. I don't think that's a thing, personally. I wouldn't follow it if I wanted to, because I don't think it's real. I don't really think it matters. People change. The weather changes. Sometimes people are outside more. Your audience might be more in like Finland or something, and it might be a great week in Finland to be outside. And so they're not on the social medias looking up your name. Sometimes they get burnt out of you, and it's just they need a minute. Sometimes they're like, it doesn't really matter. You get on the internet, right? And you watch whatever you want to watch when you want to watch it. And for the people that you really want to watch, you search up their name just to double check, even if you're not getting notifications, to see if they posted anything. So it is what it is. And I have posted things that have gone viral, and they didn't go viral like right away, because it took a minute for everyone to watch it that follows me first to be like, yeah, we like it, this should go viral, everyone should see it. And it took a couple days because they weren't on there the day that I posted. Still went viral, still fine, I'm still here, everything's good, no one's stressed. So I try to batch film as much as I can. I try to get better and better and better every time that I batch film, as far as like what we film and our quality, but also like how much we're filming. Quantity first. Quantity leads to quality. But I am also just a quantity girl. I'm like that in a lot of things. Like if someone was like, you can have one really nice purse or 10 so-so purses, I would take the 10 so-so purses like that. If someone was giving me purses, I don't know why they would do that, but you know, that's the kind of scenarios that I think that I'll be in one day, apparently. Same things with a lot of things, but including the kind of social media I watch. I like to watch someone who has a lot out of there versus someone who has like really overly produced things and cinematic things. And I think that's really cool, but I'd rather watch something like everyday vlogs over like once a week really masterpieceful things. But people make things what they want to make, and I think you should make what you want to make, and that you're good at making what's great and all those things, because it's about you making things as well as a creative person, your creativity, what you can do, what you want to do, the vision that you have, and getting it down and out there for the people to see. But I like to consume a lot. Like I would rather watch 7 seasons of something than one movie. And so that's also what I want to put out. Just turns out that those are in sync for me as a consumer and a producer. Consumer producer? I don't know. That is my opinion and my take on it. But as you can see, I'm not the only one here. So, I mean, do you agree? I know that you've heard, because I sent you lots of things, I still do every day, about like what we're doing, why we're doing it, how we're doing, what the people are saying out there, and whether or not we're going to try it, and whether or not we're going to implement it for the rest of our lives. No, I'm just kidding. So what do you think? Consistency. Do you think we have it? How did we get here? Tell me your thoughts, dear sir.
Well, I think that first of all, consistency can look like something else other than what people are saying it looks like, especially for us, because we can still be consistent just in a different way than other people are being consistent, you know? And I feel like the way that we do it, it works for you, well, in a way it works for both of us, really, because either way, no matter what, I'm also affected by whatever's happening with you on your end. And so it allows for me to have a bit of flexibility in there too, to figure out those things, figure out whatever I need to do on my end, whether it's helping you directly or indirectly or, you know, all of the above. So yeah, flexibility and consistency.
Yeah, I think as whatever helps us to get whatever else we can out, but also not burn out. Like, how much are we getting out this month? And so that we have something going out. So like this month, I might only feel well enough to put like one video a day as far as shorts, and maybe one long. But sometimes last few months I didn't put out any long form because it just wasn't really it wasn't really on the table. But then you really stepped up and learning a little bit more and doing more and spending a lot more time editing, because editing takes a lot of time, and I was backed up with videos. I couldn't film and edit more anyways because I didn't have the space. My phone and iPad were screaming, no more, no mas, we have enough of you. And I heard that. I said, sorry. Okay, I'll stop. Anyways, so I couldn't keep up with the editing and the filming. And Robbie's been doing a lot of editing and filming and helping me so that I can be more consistent. So sometimes you just got to hire out, you know, get a partner. That's what I did. And that's why I married him, to help me make YouTube videos. That's it, really.
I think too, another thing that comes into play, we've actually kind of talked about this, I think, in another video, where it's also about just use your time to whatever you can use it for. Like, you may not feel up to filming at the moment, but you might feel up to editing, or vice versa. So it's, you know, either way, if we're getting one of those things done, then we still have room at some point to do the opposite of the one that we didn't get to do, you know, or I can do that, you know, if it was more of like an editing thing that needs to be done because you felt up to filming, then we just do that. So again, we're consistent, just in a way that's different than other people might view it.
Yeah, we're consistently here. I don't know.
We're consistently here.
Anyways, I think those were some good remarks. And I think we should too talk about motivation, because you kind of, like, what you said made me think of that, of like sometimes you don't feel like filming, and sometimes I don't feel like filming, like physically, you know, I'm disabled. So I'm like, I'm not going to push myself because I have to push myself in so many areas. That's not always feasible for me to do without, you know, it coming back on me, burning me out, giving me some more triggers, some symptoms. We don't need all that, okay? But as far as like just not feeling up to it, I also have that too, of being like, look, I'm not the one, you know. I don't need to be doing this no more. This is silly. Or I do want to do it. I am the one. I love YouTube. I love social media. But also it's too cringy, or it's hard. I think, I would never take this away, I think I can do it. I have done it before in other areas of my life. But to work really hard without seeing results that you want to see and the time that you want to see them, and you know, you put a lot of effort. Maybe I spend 3 days making one short or one video, and only 20 people watch it, and they only watch the first 5 minutes, because I can see that. I can see how long you're watching it. And that's fine, you know, free will. Do what you want when you want, you know what I mean? That's your prerogative. But for me, I'm like, I work so hard for nothing, you know? And that can be hard sometimes, and it can diminish your motivation. So I do think we need to do a whole video on motivation, because in general, I think I have a lot of good tips and tricks on how to like hack your mind, how to get over it, all the things, so that you can get things done. Hello. And so that you can talk just like me into a spatula.
Yeah, I don't want to go too far into it, since you just said that you want to make a video on it, and so I don't want to use all of our content. But I just wanted to briefly mention in the motivation regard, I feel like sometimes it does take one or the other of us to motivate the other. I feel like with motivating you, that's what sometimes you need motivation about, is feeling just like that, what you just said, as far as the content not taking off perhaps or something. And so I'm like, it's okay, we got it, let's move on, it's okay, results will come.
Sometimes you just need a little pep talk. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
If you don't have a husband to give you a pep talk, then don't worry. We'll give you a pep talk in one of our upcoming videos, okay? You can do it. But for now, let's go back into more trends and advice that we ignore. I thought you were going to touch my finger here. Thank you. Ignore. Trends. They tell you the only way to grow is with like viral sounds, soundbite things, and by following all the trends, and you ride the coattails of the popularity. And that is like a kind of strategy like that people use in marketing and branding, like for real, okay? There's merit behind that. However, that's not for me. That's not for us.
Yeah, I feel like we have made some that are, I guess the foundation was based off of a trend. But as far as like what you said, using the sound bites and stuff that everyone else uses, that I feel like that's a whole video right there, honestly, as far as the dangers of doing such things. So I won't go into that too much. But anyways, basically the point is that yeah, we do some of those trends, but like you don't have to do it exactly. Like still be original, like, or come up with something, a little tweak,
Yeah. And riding the trend coattails is a good idea. Some, like he said, we do some trends. But a lot of times I'm so late on the trends. Even if I film it right away, usually my content is scheduled out. So a lot of times everything's already there. By the time it gets to you guys, that trend is long gone.
However, on that note, with the short that we did, that was a trend for the husband haul. That one, like she said, we were behind on that one technically, and that one was like woo, and somebody in the comments was literally like, oh, somebody's bringing back this trend or something like that.
That's how late I am on it. But the truth is like some trends do just kind of reappear every once in a while, once a year, twice a year, that does happen. If you're on here long enough and you're making stuff long enough, you see it. You're like, oh, we bring back some of these trends over and over again for funsies, and I'm all about it, girl. I'll be ready by the next time it comes around. It's kind of like fashion. Bell bottoms will come back into season. Yes, they will. They'll be trendy again. And hopefully I'll be trendy once during one of these things. But yeah, that our husband haul is our TikTok that has the most views. It has like 300,000 some. And it gets them now. Like we filmed it, I think, a year or over a year ago. And it still gets likes.
It's still going. Yeah.
It's still.
Gotta hit that nostalgia factor.
I don't know how. Okay. I don't know what nostalgia is. Okay. But as far as like the sounds and stuff, I'm not really into it, and the truth is that like a lot of music and stuff that like copyright still exists, and there are things that you can get back from that. And I just don't want to go anywhere near it just because it's 5 seconds or whatever. It's still copyrighted sound bit. So, and that comes back on you, not Instagram, not TikTok, not the person who started the trend. If you do it, it can come back on you. And those things do happen. And I said, my life is hard enough. I don't need that. And so I decided we're not gonna go near that. So very rarely, if ever, tell me if you can find it, because I'll find it and delete it. If you tell me it's there, I'll delete it because it was an accident. If I use a trend and I put it out, sometimes I lose my mind, what's going up on here. We're doing the best we can up here. So sometimes we lose it and we do things and we don't think.
Yeah.
But most of the time, no, that's a no for us. That's some advice we're just not going to take, and we're still going to expect to grow. Maybe we'll grow a little slowly. We won't go as viral as often, but I'm okay with that trade-off.
Yeah. That's the thing is with those kinds of things, all it takes is one bad day, like one, they just happen to see yours out of all the ones that,
well, that's not even true. I don't know if you realize, people probably don't realize that they're like, oh, they'll never see mine. I just am so small, and they'll see everyone else's first and they'll get mad at them first. They hire people. Mm-hmm. And they have programs, so it doesn't even need to be a person. It can be a bot and AI, a program that is looking, searching for anyone and anything that has that sound in view. And they will find you. They'll tell you things. And laws are there. And you don't know all of them sometimes because there's a lot of them. And I don't want to break any knowingly and then have to face some of those consequences when I could have not had to do that. I don't know if you've ever been in court, had to deal with lawyers, had to pay a lawyer. I don't recommend personally for that to be how you spend your year, okay, is getting sued or anything, which for copyright things, I feel like a lot of times you get like a warning first, but I'm not a lawyer. Don't listen to me. I'm just someone who doesn't want to have to use a lawyer for bad things, okay, for stress. I don't need stress. I have dysautonomia. No more stress. Unnecessary. No, thank you. No, thank you, stress. Move on. Oh, wait, before we move on, trends still. A lot of them also don't fit with my lifestyle. There's a lot of things that I'm just like, I mean, it was fun to watch for 2 seconds, but it doesn't really fit me. It doesn't fit my life. It doesn't fit my brand. It doesn't fit me. So I don't want to do it. I'm like, that's funny, but I wouldn't. And so I won't. Okay, that was it. The end on the trends. Next one.
All right, so the next one is to post at a specific time of day. We actually already talked about that, so we're gonna move on.
Yeah, but we don't do it. Okay, the next one after that one is that you have to post from the app and edit in the app that you want to post on and not use a scheduler. And we already said that. We already said this too in the first one. Apparently we said all the ones in the first one. Okay. But no, we don't do that. We ignore that. That is not for me. I'm so sorry. Not only do I not have the energy to be picking up my phone every single day, quite literally, but I also don't have the attention span. So if I pick up my phone and go to edit and then post, and because it's 3 p.m. on, and I need to post something I'm not going to do whatever I was doing. Usually I have like a project for the day. Like now, we've been focusing on doing the podcast and we have a couple other things to do, hence why my eyes are blue. That wasn't just for the podcast. Or maybe it was. It's just for you. Anyways, we had all those things to do and I couldn't just stop in the middle of that and just take my time to edit something out and post something on Instagram because that's the best way to do it. Every once in a while, we will like pick a couple things that we will put from TikTok. We'll put it into TikTok, do a little editing, add some captions, whatever, and then post it out. But to be honest, they don't do any better than when we put it out on the scheduler. So, and we don't have a big audience to like balance that out. Like if you have a big audience that's constantly coming for your content and is looking for you and getting notifications turned on and all that stuff, then you might consistently get the same views no matter what. But we're a very small audience, which means we don't really get pushed out that much and we don't have people that are always looking for us. And we certainly don't have that many if we do. But the ones that do, we appreciate you. You're loyal. You're the real ones. And we love that. Thank you. We're grateful. Anyways, so I feel like if we were ones that were like going to get pushed out, we would see the difference, really. We wouldn't be like, oh, we have a cushion because we have a really big, faithful, loyal audience that comes regularly and knows when to come. But we don't. So I feel like I'm a good enough person to be like, nah, I don't think you have to, I mean, do what you want, but if you don't want to.
So the next one is to either be everywhere or not to be everywhere. So like all the platforms that are out there, be on them.
Yeah.
Or don't, I guess.
Yeah, sometimes they tell you, especially in the beginning, to just focus on one and get really good at that. And there's definitely, I understand why they say it, there's merit, because when you post on Instagram, the kind of things that people on Instagram like to see and the kind of things that Instagram pushes out and go viral on Instagram are much different than the whole vibe of the things that go viral and do really well as, in general on TikTok. And then same completely different on YouTube and Facebook. So, and Pinterest. Sometimes people put their stuff on Pinterest, and that is also a much different platform than all the others. So you want to like make content for those specific platforms. However, for me, again, I don't got the energy, but I did actually want to go everywhere and not just focus on one place. But I wanted to focus on like, if you're coming for me and my content, this is the content I'm going to make. And I don't necessarily make it to fit the platform. I make my stuff, and you want to come for me, you want to come for me, and you can come for me wherever you want to come for me. But also, I decided I don't want to be everywhere. So I was like, oh, let me put everything everywhere. Especially with the scheduler, it's really easy to be like, I'm only posting one thing and I'm posting it to all of the places. So that's that. I do repurpose my content, though. I will like make something, and then I'll make it into a different kind, like something with text. Maybe I'll do something where I'm talking, then I'll do something with a voiceover, do something with text, do something really choppy, do something long and drawn out and slow, with all of the same footage. You know what I mean? And so sometimes one of them will, like, if I do all like 4 or 5, whatever I just mentioned, one of them might do better on Facebook, one of them might do better on YouTube, and one of them might do better on, but they're all going out to all of the platforms. But that doesn't mean that I like all of the platforms, and I am not on all of the platforms that I was on in the beginning when I started. Facebook, we all know, is just taking people's data, doing weird things, and a lot of platforms do, okay? Like, maybe we don't hear about it as much, and there's not as much drama surrounding, but a lot of platforms do, and a lot of platforms actually have it in their, like, terms and conditions and privacy policies. I don't know. I don't read them all, even though I should. But the thing about Facebook, not only do they not respect privacy, like really no one does, they also have so many scams on there, and so many people who don't follow like really blatant policies that Facebook has, and I just don't want to be a part of it. I just don't want to be a part of it. The AI over there, the AI scams, they're no one's keeping them in check. They're unruly. They're going out of their minds over there, and I just want to create some distance. I don't want to be there. I don't want someone to be like, oh, she's on Facebook, and then be like, you mean where all the AI are? You mean where all the scammers are at? Yeah. That is what I mean. And I think Facebook used to be, maybe it still is, used to be really like you could get in Facebook groups and you can sell things. But nowadays, I mean, since I've gone for anything that I've tried to, you know, be in that world of selling and working and marketing, a lot of it is like you can't do that anymore. They'll kick you out, and they like stop all of your posts. It'll never get through in the first place. So a lot of the things that like Facebook used to be able to hack life and business through Facebook, you can't do it anymore. Not on Facebook, not unless you're a scammer or you're AI, and I am neither. I just want to say that now. Hi, I am not a scam, and I am not AI. I don't know if I would know, to be honest, but I'm pretty sure because I can't spell very well, and AI can.
So here's one that actually wasn't on your list that it just made me think of what we were just talking about. There was one content creator that was saying that YouTube don't put shorts on it, just do the long form, because otherwise the shorts like ruin your channel or something like that.
So you have to have a separate channel is what she was saying. Like if you have a channel where you're doing long form videos or vlogs or whatever, don't start doing shorts on that same channel. You need a separate channel or something, because it will ruin the first channel. Like it will ruin your flow and where you're going and what you're doing. Right.
And I feel like that could be true, but again, it can boil down to what you're doing, and if that is fitting your lifestyle, your niche, I guess, which actually goes into your next point that you want to talk about.
Niche down. This is one. Give me that microphone. I'm gonna talk for like 3 hours about this. They tell you to niche down, and the thing is I 100% agree with them. If you want to. But here's why they tell you to do it. Because when someone comes to you because you do one thing really, really well, they know they can always come to you for that one thing. And they will continually come to be like, oh, I really love this thing. I want to see more. I want to see more. I want to see more. And you become an expert at doing that kind of content. And a lot of times when they're talking about niching down, they're talking about like a subject and teaching something, giving value, which is often correlated to like teaching something, tips, tricks, actual like teaching, you know, like philosophy or something. I don't know. And in all of this, they're telling you, sorry, I just hit you in the face. That's fine. Are you okay?
Just booped my snoot.
I did just boop your snoot because you're teaching things and then they come to you like, you know, they're thinking, oh, I want YouTube advice on how to make a YouTube, how to do YouTube. I'm going to go to the girl who gives the YouTube advice, you know, and you become known for that thing, which is great. Okay. It's amazing, but I am not the one. Yeah. I have tried for you know, do you guys know? Did you see? You probably like, girl, we knew from the beginning you weren't going to be able to niche down. I tried so hard to niche down, especially in the beginning. If you don't know the lore, that I had like 3 YouTube channels before this one. And I was like, this one's going to be for this. This one's going to be for art. This one's going to be for that. And it was 3 different things. And I'm going to niche down, but I'm going to do it all at the same time because I can't stop talking. And I keep talking about these 3 things. So then I'm just going to separate it and put it on its own channel so that they're really niche down. So I've really tried. And then when we made this channel, we started and I was like, we're just going to do podcasts and some shorts from the podcast. That's a good combo of things that I think usually works out really well. If you have like a long form of podcast, it works really well to have the shorts from the podcast and that on the same channel, and then you like link the long form, because I'll see little bits of podcasts all the time and I'm like, I want to watch the whole thing, and then I click it and it brings me to the whole video, or it says in the caption what video it's from and where to find it. So when we started this, I was like, for sure we're going to niche down. That's the advice. We're going to take all the advice. Okay, we're not starting this and we're just going to go about it with our eyes closed like little blind YouTubers. No, we get to do it with all of the advice and the mistakes that people have already made. And it turns out that I like just crumbled that foundation after we made it, because I was like, I can't do it. I talk too much about too much and I can't niche down, and I really just don't want to. So they say if you don't want to niche down, become more lifestyle. And if you become a lifestyle creator, then you want to have really, really, really strong branding. And I'm like, oh, so I still need to do something. So we'll try that next. I'm going to make a whole series on it, because that's some YouTube advice and content advice that I am going to take, because they tell you to do a series and I want to do a series. I've been wanting to do one. I've done 1 or 2 actually. And I have some things that like I do over and over again, even though they're not named a series, which you don't always have to name a series. Okay. But you know, I be doing it. I do have a series that I want to do. I have a couple series. I haven't even told him this yet. And he's kind of like, you know, my second brain, because I can't. Here's the thing. This is why I can't niche down. I don't have inside thoughts. I mean, I do. I have a lot of them, but I can't think inside my head. There's too much going on in there. It's a little chaotic. And so I can't like think and make decisions and be happy with them. I have to talk them out. So, and then it's really great. Like with the series thing, I'm going to be like, hey, do you like the name of this series like this or like this? And he'll be like, oh, I like this. And I'll realize then that I don't like that one. And then I know which one I like and which one we're going to go with. So anyways, I'm not a niche or downer. Like naturally, I don't talk about everything under the sun, but I do talk about a number of things, and I tend to want to talk about my life, and I tend to want to do some trends and some shorts about this, that, and the other, and I tend to want to like get ready with me's and do all the. I am turning into more of a lifestyle. I think I was fighting it, and now I'm gonna not fight it. So I would love to be a vlogger, but I feel like I don't do enough, and then I end up just sitting and talking. I like stop doing what I'm doing, and then I'm like, hey, let me tell you a story. Let me tell you what I'm thinking. And then I'm sitting there for an hour and I never made myself lunch or cleaned out the fridge or whatever I was going to do. But I am going to try because I want it so bad. And I also need to declutter. And I think it would be great motivation to declutter on screen with you. Also, me decluttering is hilarious because I just take everything out and I'm like, look at all these things. I should just keep them all and do things with them. And that's really not decluttering, but it might be entertaining. Anyways, let's move on. What's the next piece of advice that I don't listen to? Thumbnails and titles. They tell you on YouTube, especially when you do long form, to do thumbnails and titles first. And that is great advice. I agree. And like to plan out the video, script, do all the things. Even if like you're not doing the most editing and the most cinematic and the most overly produced thing, to still have organization and to think of your thumbnail and title first, because then everything falls. And if you can't get them to click on the thumbnail and to like the kind of title that you have out there and to be interesting, they're never going to click on the video anyways. So those are like kind of like, they're the gateway. If you can't even get them through the door, like that's the most important thing. You need to make that a really colorful door, lots of signs that say come in here, it's gonna be great. You know, and then worry about what happens when they get inside the room. That was a great illustration, but that is something that I have a really hard time doing, and I tend, like I said, to turn on the camera with one thing in mind, and then I end up just sitting there talking about a whole bunch of nothing or a whole bunch of everything. It's everything to me, over and over and over again. And so then I have footage and I edit it down and I'm like, what even is this? I don't even know. And then there's no thumbnail because I was just sitting there. And so it's just me and my face like talking like nah, nah, nah. And that's all my thumbnails. I have made really killer thumbnails, I think, just playing around in Canva.com. If you don't know, a lot of people use Canva for thumbnails. They're starting to like try to make AI to make thumbnails. And I've tried some of the things. They're new. They're awful. But overall, I would love to do it, but I don't have it in me right now. So every once in a while, I'll think of a thumbnail first or a title first and then make a video around it. But for the most part, most of what you see is just me yapping and then me being like, hey, you guys want to listen to this? Great advice. I don't take it. I wish I did sometimes. I think I will try to if I can, but that's just not how I work currently. And I gotta work with what I'm working with. I gotta work with what I have and just do the best with what I got. You know, that's all I can ask from me.
Yeah. I feel like the scripting can be advantageous, even for us, not just like in general for anyone. I feel like it depends on what kind of scripting you're doing. Like if you're literally writing out almost word for word what you're going to say, it's not going to work. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's not going to necessarily flow, like it's not going to sound natural. Mm-hmm. You know, I feel like a lot of times that we've done our stuff, we will script, like, you know, even what we're doing right now. We have an idea of what we're going to talk about, but for the most part, we just kind of free flow talk about it. Like we're just
it's the kind of scripting where there's bullet points and you make it into your own sentence, but it's like each thing that we're supposed to talk about is on here, and then there'll be like some bullet points of like, you know, maybe some numbers, like this one says do title and thumbnail first. And so I know that's the stuff that I don't follow. And then it says I would recommend, but I don't follow it. Oops. And that's to trigger my brain to go, I do really like that advice, and here's why. Yeah. And oops, I don't follow it though. Yeah. So it's not a blatant ignorance, blatant ignoring rather. Blatant ignorance. I do that sometimes too. Yeah. We don't need to talk about that's a different video. Yeah.
As long as you can kind of keep it as a reference and just keep it original, like, you know, it's you talking, I feel like that's pretty much like the main thing, because that's what we want to see is you know. I would hope that's what people want to see is me, you know, when I talk. when I crack my dad jokes, you know, I would hope that's what people would want to see, instead of me trying to sound like, you know, like a script.
Like word for word written out and you're trying to memorize it kind of script. Mm-hmm. I hear you.
Or even just the way it sounds too. Like because I mean, you can sound like it without even necessarily saying the words, if that makes sense. I don't know how to describe it. Like your tone, you know, because sometimes I read something and I read it in a different voice.
Oh yeah, he definitely has a read voice. I mean, it's nice and all, but it is not for my podcast. I have banned it from here. You're welcome. Just so you know, you might never see it, but just trust me. You're welcome. It's good, but it's not for here. It's not for us. Not here, not us. Okay? But we do like the dad jokes. I do. I come here for the dad jokes. Just saying. Okay. Oh wait, I was going to say something else. What was it? I remembered. Okay, scripting is great, and we do it for some of our videos. So like all of our sit down, because it's both of us, I like kind of will put down what I'm thinking, and I will write some like paragraphs loosely, like I just read you one sentence, would recommend, can't do it, oops, you know, so that he can read it and know what's going on, so that he can be ready to do the episode with me and add in whatever thoughts that he has and to compliment me.
I'm never really ready. I'm just kidding.
No, you are. So that we are of one mind when we come here to talk to you, which I think is a good idea because there's two of us and we don't have like segments of like I talk about this and you talk about that, and that's what happens on every podcast. Like I'm in charge of today's world news and you're in charge of our world news, and I'll tell you what's going on in the world and he'll tell you what's going on with us.
Here's the weather.
And here's the weather of my mind. No, that's not what we're doing, and nor was that funny. That's why you come here, for his dad jokes and not mine. I understand. I know who I am. I know my strengths and my weaknesses. Jokes are not my strengths. Anyways, right now I have things and topics I want to talk about, and I have some stories I want to tell y'all, but just so that we're like going in the right order, going back and forth, and he understands what's happening. He's not just sitting here and looking pretty. He actually has a job to do, although you're doing a good job at both. So I do send him scripts, and I do write scripts for these things. And sometimes for like my really put together, like my motivation video that either we'll do or I'll do. I don't know. I guess you'll find out when I find out. I'll script those because they have like a really strong story and point I want to tell. But other than that, I know what I want to say when I want to say it. If it's just me, you know? So I don't tend to script. It's a lot of work, to be honest, as well. And I also don't talk about anything usually. I'm talking from me, from my mind, from my experiences, my thoughts, whatever's going on up here. And I'm not usually talking about things that like I need to fact check and stuff, because I'm not the one. If you're coming to me for things that need to be fact checked, you need to check yourself before you wreck yourself. Because I ain't the girl. Why are you here for that? You're not, because I don't do that, because I don't want to scam you into thinking that I know things. Okay? We have Google, we have ChatGPT. Not that you should trust anything just you do you. But I don't have any facts going on up here. Thank you. Just my own experience and just my own thoughts and feelings, and even that take with a grain of salt because I remember almost nothing. Okay, moving on to our next piece of advice that we don't follow.
So the next one on the list is to only do one channel at a time on a platform. Like say you're doing YouTube, you wouldn't want to make like several channels, one about one thing, one about another, one about another.
Because your attention is divided and you want to be able to focus and grow one. Otherwise, it's going to fall apart into the wayside, and that divided attention is just not good enough. But I'm going to say this is outdated information. And I'm also going to say it ain't for everybody. Because I can pick up several things, and I do better if I do everything that I want to do. I will do them all individually better if I do them collectively than if I just focus on one thing. That's not how my brain works. And if you know, you know. So I want to really go into my strengths, and my weaknesses are that I try to do things that like normal neurotypical people can do. And that's not where I'm at in life, apparently. So I do better to do multiple. So if I want to do 3 at a time, I will put out better and more on the 3 than if I just tried to focus on 1 at a time. And I know this for sure when it comes to YouTube, because I just told you a minute ago that this is not my first YouTube channel. And even if it was, you guys probably know it's not my only one. And even though I didn't know what I wanted to do with the other one that I had for the moment, I kind of do now. And so I do post on there regularly, and I tend to actually focus more on Pinterest with my other account, my other brand, my other business thing going on. Completely unstable. That's right, relatively unstable, completely unstable. I did that on purpose. Anyways, but before this, I had 3 YouTube channels that I started at once. One was for like businessy things of like the back end of YouTube and social media, and I wanted to share advice and things that I was learning because I was learning so much. I wanted to like immediately regurgitate it because I was so excited about it, because that is one of my things, is I can hyperfixate or really go into the deep depths of a spiral into a cave when it comes to learning something if I'm interested. And that was something I was interested in. Was I wanted to learn about branding, marketing, design, and I wanted to design products as far as like designs that go on products like t-shirts, graphic tees, things like that, sweatshirts, hats, the yada yada. And I also wanted to be able to do art and things like that, like some digital downloads, all that kind of stuff. You can learn about that. I was using Canva, learning all about the Canva, the Kittle of it all. And then along with that, I wanted to do social media. And I was not a social media person like at all before. Like I have an Instagram, I think, before that, and I posted like 3 times in the last decade and a half. And it was because I wanted to meet this guy, and he had an Instagram, and he went and asked for my number. If you know, you know. Anyways, not salty about it. It was like a decade ago. I will forgive and forget.
Still working on the forget part, at least.
We're just joking. Anyways, the moral of this story is that what I can do good is I can go and like not eat, not sleep, not drink. It's not really good. But go down a whole spiral of learning something, and I can really absorb it and take it in, learn the principles. And I was doing that with marketing, branding, social media, all the things, some technical things and some like principles and concepts, along with like mindset shifts that had to be made. And you know, a lot of people do make when it comes to becoming an entrepreneur and feeding your inner entrepreneur, and then also feeding your inner content creator, your inner influencer, and your inner like creative, because I was making social media, but I was also making art, like literally painting paintings. One of my things was for an artist channel. I did an artist channel with painting and things, and I didn't want to do that with my face, so I was also trying to learn about like doing it without my face and things like that. And then what was the third one I had? I don't know. I had 3. Okay, at one time I started them, and I was like, these are the 3 very niche down subjects that I want to do. And now it turns out I'm probably going to end up talking about all of those things. But just on one channel.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too, because a lot of it I feel like can be about how you use your time and your energy, trying to, you know, I don't know if I want to say consolidate, but like maybe prioritize and
use your time wisely.
Yeah, and kind of think outside of the box a little bit, or like to think about how you can kind of mix things together. For example, say you wanted to do a get ready with me video, and then you wanted to do a painting video, and then you wanted to do a riding your horse video. Well, what's one way that... Oh, I have 4 fingers up. 3, sorry. Well, what's a way that you could essentially do all 3 of those things in one day? You know what I mean? Just think outside the box of how you can accomplish all those things. You could do all 3 of your filming things in one day.
Mm-hmm. And for me, a lot of those things, the reason why he brings up those 3 things is because those are like 3 things that I literally have done. But for me, like I would be doing those 3 things anyways. Mm-hmm. So I set it up like he said, and I make sure I do it in the right order. And then I'll like, you know, set my lights up the night before, or, you know, put them in the room, whatever I need as far as equipment, my like little stands. What is that? Your tripod, my phone, whatever. Make sure everything's nice and charged. Everything's always dead when it comes to me. So
that's my job.
Yeah. Make sure I ask my husband to make sure it's charged. And then like, you know, if I was doing get ready with me, I'd make sure all my brushes are clean. Everything's in the place that it needs to be in. I know what outfit I'm going to wear that I can wear painting. And then when I'm done painting, I'm going to go and ride the horse. And so I have my other outfit ready. And so I can just, you know, and I'll make sure like, just kind of like create extra time too in between each thing, because even though I was already going to do all of those things, it might take a little extra time to make sure I'm in the camera angle, I got things set up, and it might take a minute longer. It takes me longer to do my makeup if I'm filming it than if I just do it in a mirror. And then it also takes away any like stress of like time of like, I need to do this because I only set an hour aside. Like set a little bit more if I can, whatever I want, and then some cushion so that I can just chill. And if I want to like tell you a story in the middle of something, I can, and I don't have to rush through it, and I don't have to like become a robot and a stress thing. And then you're like, girl, you stress. I don't really want to watch you be this stressed all the time. And I'm like, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? So for me, I wanted to create those channels because I wanted to do all of those things anyways, and apparently I wanted to share them with you. I was like, I want to do them and it's not real life unless I film it, which is obviously not true, but for some reason I was like, why not? And why not?
So the next one on your list is to have a name for your channels, whatever, and a profile picture, and then stick with it.
Yeah. We all know that I ignored this one.
Yeah, you've been through a few of them. A few of them.
I feel like it's almost part of my branding that I don't keep it. I'm not consistent. I have changed my name 1,000 times, which I really like. I'm relatively unstable, but the very first one is destabilizing disability. If you watch our podcast from the beginning, we're like, this is destabilizing. I say it with my chest. I'm like, this is it will always be. And like 2 weeks later, I was like, and now this is Chatty Tea. Get ready with me. And then next week, I was like, actually, it's... So I changed it like 18 times, but I felt like I was allowed to do that in the first year. Like, I didn't know what I really wanted and what I really was going to settle on, yada, yada, yada. I feel like I always wanted relatively stable, and I kept finding reasons not to, which is something I do in life. Sometimes I'm like, I always want something and I know it's the thing. I know it'll work for me. I know it's my branding, whatever. And then I end up being like finding all these reasons that I'm like, no, and let me try this, or someone said I should do that, so let me try to make that work first, or I heard this advice and so I'm going to do that. And it's like, really, I'm just wasting a lot of time and effort and energy. And this is one of those things that I did that with. However, when it comes to like my banner on YouTube and my little profile pic, I change that on the daily. That is always new. So it is good to keep the same so that people know it and can always look you up. And then you have to say something to someone else 1 billion times before they remember, especially on these spaces, the internet. People don't remember things. You're not the most important thing in their life, usually. I mean, I hope I'm the most important thing in your life. Just kidding. But the thing is that I don't want to. I'm always like, oh, but I made this and this could be cute. And I want to do this and this can be cute. I'm working on another banner right now. So it'll be changed. I'll stay with I'm relatively stable for a while. And I wanted I'm relatively stable and my other channel to be completely unstable. And those be my two little brandy company thingy things. And so I'm really happy with those two. And I think that's where we're going to stay for a while, unless something else pops off and you guys are like, actually, we really like it like this. This is how I like it, so I'll just keep it this way, unless you guys tell me I need to do something else.
Yeah, I feel like it's interesting because the saying "a horse of a different color," I feel like it's almost like you're Tara of a different color, which is funny too because you are a horse girl. You want to be a horse girl, and so we can make that your new saying, Tara of a different color.
Oh my goodness, a new banner and a new name. It's coming. I like it. No, I'm gonna. But that could be my tagline. I say too many things for it to be my tagline. I say a lot of the same thing, but then it'll stay like that for like 2 months, and then on to the next 2 months, I'll be saying a whole bunch of other stuff over and over again, though. So right now, what do I keep saying right now as my tag? Oh, wild behavior. I say that every 5 minutes. I'll do something, and I'm like, that's wild behavior.
I tried to say it last night.
He's like, what's that thing that you always say? Crazy behavior.
Yeah, I was like, it's dangerous behavior or something like
behavior,
that.
That's what you said. You're like, that's dangerous behavior. And I was like, close enough, babe. Close enough. But I say it all day, every day right now.
Yeah, it can be dangerous.
Yeah, I don't even know what we were probably just talking about TikTok, watching TikTok all day, because that's what I was doing last night when you said it. As I was just watching TikTok a lot. I was down that rabbit hole. I like it down there. People tell you, like, how... We're not going to go. We're going to go to that another day about the whole TikTok and just like binge. What is it? The rot? Something with the rot. But rotting on there and just like watching and like what it does to your brain and things and like not being able to come off and needing to like use apps and put your phone away and stuff like that. Not me. I'm not the one. And I don't know if it's because I didn't really like social media in the beginning or maybe because I didn't grow up with it as much. I don't know. But I don't need it. Like, if I want to get off, I can get off. And if I don't want to look at it for 3 weeks, I don't have to look at it for 3 weeks. But if I sit down and want to look at it for 4 hours, then that's what, like, I'm sitting down to look at it for 4 hours one day. But a lot of it, too, I do for business. But I'm enjoying it. But when I watch, like, 4 hours of rotting TikTok, I think it's wonderful. I think people are putting a lot of effort into it. I think it's great. I love TikTok and Instagram and and YouTube and all the things. And when I'm sitting there watching it over and over again for a long time, I'm enjoying it. And at the end, I want to make it. And that's partially why I'm here. Because I watch so much and I'm like, I want to do that. It's so much fun. And so I find it to be a really fun, kind of healthy cycle for me, instead of one that is like destroying me, or like I do compare myself to other people sometimes, and I'm like, ooh, I don't like that. But once that starts, I just get off. I don't have to be like, I'm like, oh, well, I don't need to be on here. I need to focus more on me, what I'm doing. And then I go look at all the things that I've accomplished for the day or for the week, like recently, and be like, wow, I'm really proud of me. Let me make some more things, and let me do this, and let me go work out. And I don't know. I don't find that to be an issue. I'm not going to have to buy a brick or anything like that. Like, a brick is something that, it's like a physical thing, I guess, that you carry around that like blocks your phone from getting on Instagram and TikTok or whatever. I didn't even look that much into it. I know people have it, but so I'm probably not describing it right. But it's something that you can have and use if that's an issue for it. And I understand. Go for it. I'm addicted to like everything else except social media, apparently. I don't know. But that was a side quest. I'm so sorry. Back to the thing. Back to YouTube advice that we ignore. give, and give value, and be a resource that people can use, you know? And I love that. I love watching people who are really valuable and who teach me things. Oh my goodness, I wouldn't be here on YouTube if you didn't teach me how to be here, if you didn't teach me what kind of mindset I need to do this. I would never be able to be here. All those things, you know, even how to like make a banner. I wouldn't have known if someone didn't teach me. And that's great value. Obviously, that's a lot of value to me. That is valuable. However, I want to give value. And as a business, I think you should give, and only ask. Like, you should give times 1,000 more than you ask. As a brand, like, oh, I want you to buy this, but don't ask them to buy this. Be like, let me give you all of these things, and this to look at, and this freebie, and this whatever. And then you can ask once, you know, but do you want this? Can you buy something from me? And I love that. It makes so much sense to me. However, I don't have anything to give. I'm so sorry. I don't have, like I said, we're doing the best we can up here. And so I don't want to try to teach you nothing, because it would all be a scam. You need to go somewhere else. They're so much more qualified. They know what they're doing over there. At least they act like they do. They have the confidence of it. And I'm not even going to try to pretend, you know. I'll tell you a little something, but at the end of it, I'm going to be like, but fact check it, because I don't know, you know. I'm kind of like ChatGPT. Like, I'd be saying a lot of things, but if you try to fact check GPT, you'll be fact check ChatGPT. That's a tongue twister for me. Most words are, though. So moving on. If you have to do that, like, you should. Like, if you're trying to script something or whatever, they're just pulling stuff out of the internet, and anybody can put anything on the internet. Look, I'm here. So, you know, what can you trust, and who, and when? Things change, information comes out that's new, and sometimes it takes time to get down the line. So whatever, I don't want to be part of that, because I can't be. It really would just mess up everyone else who's in there. They'd be like, why is she talking? What is she saying? That's all wrong. And I'd be like, I'm sorry. And I don't want to make 1,000 apology videos. Oh my goodness, we should binge watch apology videos later on TikTok. They're the best. Anyways, moral of the story is that I don't feel like I have a lot to give. However, when I was thinking about this and writing all this down and making all of my things, because that's one of the first principles I feel like I learned about here on the YouTube when it comes to business and content creation, I was thinking about me as a consumer. I consume a lot of things and buy a lot of things. I'm into a lot of media. And growing up, I did have YouTube in my teens, where YouTube was starting to go. We had some vloggers, people who had main channels and vlog channels, and I always loved the vlog channel more than the main channel. And I was deep into those vlog channels. And you know, it's been like 15 years, if not longer. And some of them are still on there, but they've changed a lot. They've grown up. A lot of them were kids when they started. They lived a lot of life. They got married. They had kids. All these things. So I don't always watch them the same, because I'm not always here with those channels anymore. However, I watched them for years and years and years. And to me, that was entertaining, and it was extremely valuable. It was more valuable than like the high school hacks and get ready for the school year with me, like all those other random videos that they did. I watched them because they were there, but I wouldn't have picked them. I wouldn't have been like, that's what you should make this week. I've been like, scrap that, make vlogs. That's all I want to see. I want to see you eating. I want to see you talking about brushing your teeth. I don't know. It's everything. It still is 2 decades later. And I'm like, where are my vlog channels at? And I think that's the reason why I want to be a vlogger so bad, is because I love it so much. But for me, that is value. It gave me purpose in life. I had daily vloggers I watched. So I was like, this is my reason for waking up and living, because at the end of the day, I get to watch a vlog. And some days that really was true. I went to therapy, though, after that. So it's fine. Now it's both, like I just live because it's valuable. But also I can live for other things besides vlogs. I just want everyone to know. Anyways, so those things are valuable to me. And I hope that whatever I put out can be valuable, at least in some way like that. But I feel like overall, I don't follow that advice because I don't give like a lot of tips and tricks. I don't give a lot of like, let me teach you something. I'm not here trying to help you do much. I mean, I wish I could. Like, what can I give? What can I do as like this, as a content creator, and in my like other little businessy thing of like, what can I give? And I feel like that's a little bit easier because I can make freebies over there and give freebies. But here, I don't know. So, I mean, if you have any ideas, DM me, because this is an eternal conundrum for me, because I want to give. I want to be valuable to you. I just don't know how, okay? My life is hard. I don't have a lot to give. I don't have a lot up there going on, okay? Although, one of my friends, I went and saw them this week, and I walked in. Did you get another bug? Oh my gosh. Don't move to the country. I'm just kidding. But she said she really liked the way that I think. So, life is worth living.
So next on the list is to be realistic.
Yeah, when have you ever known me to be realistic?
That's a no. That's a hard no.
It's not that I'm not realistic. It's just like, how do you define being realistic?
Yeah, that I was thinking about that actually when I saw this on your list. I feel like, amongst other things, it just is the level we're talking. Because I feel like with everything, there's a balance. I mean, there is a level of that you do have to, I guess, have, but don't let it completely define what you're doing,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Like, for example, I wrote down some examples because I really wanted you to understand what I mean here. And this happens to me in real life too. I have had, doctors, practitioners, all these people be like, you need to be realistic about your health. And I said, honey, I'm going to be delusional if it helps me get there. And I think that there's really merit to that, because if you believe, like, if someone's like, you're never going to walk again, this is as good as you're going to get, you're never going to get better. And I'm like, I'm delusional enough to think that this is not the end for me, and I will do whatever it takes to be able to walk again, and I will do whatever it takes to, whatever it is that I want to do that I couldn't currently do functional wise. But when it comes to YouTube, right, they'll tell you like, don't quit your job and then start being a YouTuber thinking you can make full time on it. And the thing is that like, I think that is being responsible and that's different than being realistic, because on the other hand, if someone says, don't start YouTube thinking that in a year you're going to be able to quit your job, or in a year you're going to be making money from it, or something like that, then I'm like, but other people do. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing. If someone else has already done it, especially with YouTube, if someone's like, oh, you can't live off of doing some sort of social media or content, or if someone's like, you can't, make a whole brand, you're just one person, you can't do it. Other people do it. Mm-hmm. Other people do it all the time. Now, it is a job to do social media, period. Not even just social media and a job, and they, feed each other. However, some people will still say that and don't understand it, or have said it plenty of, like, you can't make that. And lots of people do. And once there's, like, lots of people doing it, that it's a thing, and that there's most likely like rules to follow, a template, if you will, to follow, steps to follow, a way that you can do it, and it's written down for you somewhere on the internet. Was it reasonable to think that I could start a YouTube and be consistent enough with it where my health was when I started to be like making money and living off of it? Probably not, but I did see people who were doing that basically because they just had something go viral and they got enough following off of it, and then were able to just like, you know, compound onto that. But is it unrealistic to think that that can happen? Absolutely not, because it's already happening. But I also want to balance that out with responsibility of like, but I'm not going to quit doing whatever else we do. And I'm also going to do what I think is responsible of treating it like a job, and treating it like something that I need to learn how to do, be consistent at, show up for, get dressed for, like all the things that you would do for another job, along with all the things that you have to do for this specific job and the skills that you should require for this job or for how I want to do it, all of those things. So is it realistic? Has someone else done it? That's what I think. But can I also like balance it with being responsible? Like, I'm not going to quit my job, but I didn't have a job when I went into this, so I didn't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
So that's what I think of.
Yeah. I feel like another danger on the side of being too heavily realistic is that you start going from realistic to pessimistic, and then that actually can hinder you so much, because then you start kind of boxing yourself in. You start closing off options that maybe you would have thought of if you hadn't, you know, gone too heavily into that mentality. So it's a very slippery slope. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think, kind of to continue that thought of, when you're a creative, when you're doing a creative job, you do want to like learn the rules, but a lot of times you learn the rules specifically to learn how to break them and to become a trendsetter, to do something original, to do something bigger and better than just what the rules that you learned provided you with, the skills that you learned provided you with when it comes to creativity. And I think of that a lot with like painting and actual art, and like really pushing the boundaries, and why not add this and why not do this. And they say like, you know, if you're going to use acrylic paint, just use acrylic, don't use oil in acrylic. And why not use both? And why not do crayons? And why not like do all the things, add in earrings into an actual painting, whatever you want to do. And those things, like, then you start becoming more and more unique and more you, and more like, it feeds your creativity too, which is its own engine that you need to keep fueling to keep going. I think in a creative job and in life as a creative. Anyways, so I do think all of that's importante. And it is important for the creative part and for standing out. And like, I mean, do you want to do what everyone else is doing? If it works and if you like it, sure. But are there things that you can do that everyone else is doing, but in your way, with your voice and in your style? Push it a little bit. And then even more so, people are doing things that nobody's ever done. Like, especially this day and this age, there's so many things that are like, the internet is still like kind of newish compared to other things, and there's other things that people are creating and doing, and then they have AI, and like, there's a lot more opportunity, and it's easier and easier to get into it, and it's easier and easier to learn it because someone's always teaching it for free on YouTube. So I'm like, why not try all the things and create all the things? And as a consumer, I'm like waiting to see it all. I'm like, who's creating this? Who's doing that? Let me look, because it's a time of, I feel like it's such a good time in life for creatives and for people who want to make things, and for people who couldn't before, but now it's so much easier because everyone has a phone and a camera now, and everyone has access to the internet now. Everyone, you know, for the most part, it's easier to get access to all those things. You go to McDonald's, create a YouTube, put it out, you know? And people without homes who are homeless or living in a car are creating whole YouTube things. And then, you know, people are living in vans, and that's great. And, you know, that's like, is that reasonable? Is that realistic? 10 years ago, a lot of people would have been like, what? Now people are like, oh my goodness, van life. It's the trend. Well, trendsetter. They set the trend. You know, they made it cool and great and all those things. So be realistic, be creative, be pessimistic. You gotta balance it all. I don't know. And I'm like, I'm gonna balance it all with like, why not? Why can't I do it? I'm gonna try as long as I can. Okay? And I feel like I have to be very realistic when it comes to my health, and things like that, and my energy, so that I can do something, so that I can wake up the next morning and not be bedridden. All of those things. But other than that, I'm gonna be like, why not? I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
I'm going to try, and if I can't do it, okay. And with YouTube, if you want to try something, a new style, a new anything, and you put it out, if people don't like it, they won't see it.
Yeah.
But you'll never know if anyone will like it if it's not there for them to find, at the very least, you know? And Could you do it? Could you, why not? There's room. There's room. People like to say it's overset. Who cares? Don't even go into that. Don't even think. Don't let those thoughts go into your. Who cares? There's so many people in the world, and I, as a person, I'm gonna tell you, because I'm a person, you can trust me. I watch a lot of stuff all day, every day. I can throw down a whole season of a show in 3 days. Okay, so make whatever you want to make, because I'm ready to watch it. I've watched everything else, and I'm ready to watch that. I've watched everything else 3 times over. 7 seasons, 8 seasons, it's nothing to me. I'm a big consumer, and a lot of people are. And YouTube, I'm subscribed to more than one person. I can watch more than one vlog a day. So if you made 18 vlogs a day, if you made one vlog, I can still subscribe to you and all the other people. So it doesn't matter if it's oversaturated. I'm going to pick who I want to pick, which could be you. And I'm going to pick more than one because I got the time and I like it. I like to consume all the medias, all the TV shows, all the vlogs. So why not? I just, when someone's like, be realistic, I'm always just in my head, I'm like, did someone else do it? And why not me? You know what? Why not?
Yeah. I think when it comes to being realistic, it's like you can be realistic, but have backup plans. Have a backup plan, have a alternate way of going about it, things like that. Just because you're being realistic doesn't mean that everything has to come to a halt.
I agree. Next point.
The quality of your content. And we're talking like camera quality. Like, are we watching 4K? Are we watching 480p? Like, what are we watching?
480p? I don't even know what that means. And I should, because I'm on here.
It's like the low. Well, I don't know if it's technically the lowest, but like in a general, like that's usually the lowest that they let you do for most things nowadays.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So like 4K, 5K, 8K. I don't know what Ks they have. Or like, what kind of iPhone do you have? If you're using your iPhone, what kind of, camera? Do you have a wide angle lens?
How many megapixels?
Yeah, pixels. What are your pixels doing? All that stuff, do you have one of those Digi Osmos? Do you have a thing that goes here? Do you have the Ray-Bans that like are videotaping things? What lights do you have? How many ring lights do you have? Do you have the big, like, what tripod? How many tripods? Does it stick to the window? All of that stuff. All of the quality things and the gadgets and the gizmos and your settings on your camera, we ignore it all. We ignore it all. I've learned about it. There's lots of videos, thank goodness. But that stuff gets better and better all the time. And there's always a new gadget. There's always a new gizmo. There's always a new 80p. There's always a new 8K. There's always more Ks coming out. And there's always more like better cameras. Oh my goodness. There's always another iPhone. And they always got better cameras, all these things. But we ignore all of that. My phone is old, and it's an iPhone, and that's what I use. And it's like old, like has a button on it. It has a button on it. Okay? And that's the way I like it. It maybe has like 100 gigabytes, which is not a lot when you're filming, especially as much as I film.
I don't think it even has that.
Yeah. We have another phone that we don't even use. It's old. It's older than this one. Also has a button. That's an iPhone, and it's not the best quality. Even I am like, this is bad quality. But I use it because it has more gigabytes than my phone, and you all know I'm yapping. And I don't want to I do get cut off all the time because it's like storage full. Shh. Rude. Anyways, so I have an iPad. I don't even use like a Mac Pro. I don't use a laptop. I don't use Dropbox. I don't want to send anything, big files, whatever. So I don't have to wait all day for something to load or to go from one to the other, and then it like gets corrupted and all this. I film with my selfie camera, which already puts the quality a little bit down. I'm so sorry. But it makes my space a lot better, a lot smaller, so that I can talk a lot more. And apparently that's more important to me. It's easier to send over to my iPad. I send it to my iPad. I edit it, put it out, delete it. It's gone. I don't have the room on my iPad for like multiple things and multiple videos. So it gets in the trash, so I have more room. I do have lights, but we also live in a basement, and if you look at my old videos, I don't have lights, but we live in a basement. There's like one window or two windows, and like we're half in the ground, So it's real dark and dingy down here. We needed the lights. We have some tripods we found, especially when I started, I couldn't hold my phone and I couldn't hold it up. I didn't have the strength. And even now, I'm still like, my shoulder goes out really easily still and causes a lot of issues. So that's not something I always want to be dealing with. So accessibility, I do have I would just carry around random book or clothes and I would put it on a pillow and prop it up and that would be it. Prop it against a lamp, whatever. And I also have a waterproof case around my phone, so you can't hear nothing with that audio. It's awful. So I do use a microphone. I also just really wanted it. I saw everyone else using little microphones, and I was like, I want that. I also really like to whisper and do ASMR into it. I don't think anyone else likes it, but that's okay. Some things I create just for me, and that's... Go ahead.
Just don't lick it. If you know, you know.
My goodness, it was so bitter. I can still taste it if I think about it.
I will say I do have things to say on this subject, actually. I feel like this, in a way, falls more into my forte of knowledge about this stuff. Mm-hmm. And as someone just who appreciates quality and notice it more than you do.
Yeah, I don't care. I'll notice a really bad CGI animal in a movie, and I'll be like... Is that how a deer really looks? I don't think so. But other than that, I'm not going to notice.
Yeah. I feel like, don't get me wrong, I appreciate quality in the sense of if I'm watching a movie or something like that, maybe even a YouTube video, it can depend. If I'm really having a hard time seeing something very specific in the video that I really want to see, but that comes to a very specific niche of a kind of situation that I need to see something like that to that level. If you're doing something like this, we used to watch YouTube videos that the quality, think about it.
You couldn't see a person's face.
Yeah. And you obviously weren't watching it going wow, this is so amazing and crisp.
The pixels.
Yeah. It's you were watching it for what was happening in the content. You were watching the content. So, and even the fact that with movies, we don't have to watch, these brand new crisp 4K movies, 8K movies. We go back and watch older ones because we liked the content of the movie, So it's the same with this. It's if your content itself, the quality of your content, your storytelling, your life, your niche, whatever is good enough, the quality doesn't matter as much. It can, depending on what you're doing, but more times than not, probably not. And like she was saying, it just adds one more thing to your problems of trying to download, upload, this and that and the other, because it takes that much more space. The space that those things take up, I mean, if we're not even talking 4K, we're talking just 1080p quality, can take up a couple gigabytes. Which, nowadays, yes, even storage is getting higher and higher, but still, when you're talking content creation, that's still a lot of gigabytes depending on how quickly you can move through things and whatnot.
And then also it takes really it'll take a long time to upload, and y'all know I don't got patience for that. I'm not here sitting waiting for 3 hours for something to go from here to there and then to configure, and then maybe it fails in between and I have to do it again. Absolutely not. I would have quit day one. YouTuber is not for me. Content creator, never. TikToker, ha ha ha, goodbye. You wouldn't get any of me. I mean, it all wraps around back to consistency, because I would have had no consistency. I would have been too annoyed by all of this stuff. I wouldn't have been able to keep up with it, not to mention my energy and what's accessible for me. And it's just not, I need to make things as easy and accessible for me to be consistent, to continue to enjoy it, and to just do it all around. So that's why I ignore some of this advice. It's not that you should, but you should at least know that you can ignore advice.
Yeah, I think it's very situational, and just know your ins and outs is kind of what it comes down to, as far as what your limitations are or what you can do, what you can't do, et cetera, et cetera. And then also knowing that there's more than one way to peel a potato. So don't box yourself in. You can be realistic, but then have backup plans, have contingencies, have this, that, the other. Think outside the box. Don't limit yourself, those kinds of things.
Yeah, you do you, and know that you can do whatever you want to do, how you want to do it. probably, you know, to succeed, and like define what success is for you. Like for me, success is being able to put out videos consistently every month for a year, and I did that. And so now I am successful and I reached my goal. And now my goal this year will be to grow my following and to monetize and do all those things, and then I'll be more confident in being able to reach a goal because I already reached goals. I know I can reach goals, and I know I like my process of reaching them. I like my mindsets of trying to reach them, and now I also have like some experience built up of how I want to go about monetizing and continuing. And if I'm like, well, I want to make more videos, I know what I need to change in my life to do that, and I know how to make it easier. I know what to give up, and I know what to ask for from other people and other things and other places. And that's that. Now it's dark, and so I need to stop yapping, and I'm hungry and thirsty, and I didn't bring my water in here with me. So it's been real, and it's been nice, and it's been real nice. Say bye, Robbie.
Bye. The way that you tell me to say bye.
It's literally my favorite thing in the world.